sorry, Herb's not here.
Well, yes, and that's another question. Yeah.
So, when I go to light the candles, I come up and I take the mask off, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No question about it. We don't have to
We'll
worry
start.
about things like getting permits.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it would be a different. This way people can see it. And their PJ said way down back. They'll never, I'll get a million on the screen. Exactly. There's one person watching now, that's me. Because you're the only person that cares about the content. Well, I care to make sure that everything is operational. Right.
I have to take this off in order to put this on.
So I gave my mother 7 or 8 times that I didn't, you know, that I didn't, oh, this is, you know, because it's new, it's fun. So let her, yeah. New clothes are fun no matter how they go. Right, exactly, let her know. If I can't do it with the rummage sale from here, if you don't have it, my mother can get it.
I guess I will take out a book.
Yeah, you could.
Well, although everything's on the screen.
I know. And it's interesting because, you know, I look at people in the sanctuary and there are some people who really didn't think this was going to be good to have the screens, you know, and they all use the screens.
Yeah, I've been noticing that when I'm in there and I see him on the monitor and it's very, well, I know in Lou's case, he said, it's so nice not to hold that heavy book.
Right. See, the lunchtime specials, which is stuff that is marked down to the bottom. That's nice. Exactly. Where am I going now? Right now?
John is adjunct ritual committee.
Exactly.
Adjunct.
Adjunct ritual committee, she said.
I know.
Well, before we go live, I'm going to light the little candles so that we don't have all the things that match.
It's a fictional.
I wouldn't light it too soon because it's melt halfway down by the time I get
Yeah.
Good for about 10, 15 minutes.
I'll bet.
Well, we have to relax and meditate first.
Yeah.
and we got the announcements.
Well, no, announcements come at the end.
They
The
come
welcome.
at the end.
Welcome
The welcome.
comes at the beginning.
The welcome.
And here's the welcome. Welcome.
You just be open. Pass it on.
Consider yourself welcome.
Are there any guests online?
Is there anybody online?
Are there any new members online?
Well, Seymour Lichtenthal was at the door just now.
Oh, my gosh.
He didn't know that we were,
He doesn't have a computer.
yes, he does.
Oh.
Yes, he does. And he's going home to watch us.
Oh, he came here?
Yes. Just,
I don't think he was really planning on it. I think he was going by because he was in a sweatsuit.
that's how he comes.
Oh, does he come?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe you saw some cars in the parking lot. Thought, oh.
No. He always comes dressed very, very casually.
I was going to wear jeans, and I said, no, it's Shabbat. I am not. Just couldn't do it.
I wore one night here in the last 4.5 years. I wore one set of dress jeans, you know, nice jeans, and I felt uncomfortable all night long wearing them. I did. I just said something doesn't. I was comfortable wearing them, but I was uncomfortable mentally coming to Shabbat wearing a pair of jeans.
In South Salem, we used to have a lot of trouble with that because one of the things about this congregation was informal, very laid back. And I said, no jeans, no sweats, no logo stuff in the sanctuary on Shabbat. coming to religious school on Sunday morning, whatever you like, I
It
don't
should
care.
feel a little bit
Yes,
different.
yes. And for the B'nai Mitzvah class, I said, especially because I used to call the kids up to help lead the service as practice for being up for their own bar and bat mitzvah. So I said, if you're helping to lead the service, you got to dress the part. And I actually had to send one kid home because he showed up wearing shorts. And I wouldn't let him do it. And I'm happy to tell you that his father is still a good friend of mine.
Well, you know, they have to respect you for that. I mean, come on. The way,
They have no boundaries because you can wear jeans anywhere now.
well, and when the kids wear jeans, there's so many holes in
Well,
them.
yes.
They're practically naked.
You pay good money for that.
I know.
This one was on 74 back here, and these two were on 76, which means that other one's been running nonstop.
Don't look at me,
No, I'm just
I
letting you
only
know.
work here.
We haven't touched them.
Is the church coming here on Sunday?
Yes.
I bought a pair of jeans and they were folded. And I picked up the jeans and they were the right size and I bought them and took them home and looked at them and they had the holes in them. So I took them back to the store.
Right.
I got a refund. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. When my jeans look like that, I throw them away.
Well, at least if they're going to sell you a pair of jeans with a bunch of holes, they should discount it for them.
Well, you would think, but
But
they
they
wouldn't.
don't.
They charge more.
They charge more,
I
yes.
tell my dentist that when I get my teeth cleaned,
Yeah?
because I only have a few that are my own.
You can't charge me for cleaning your teeth.
But they do clean them all, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm relieved to know that now.
Yeah.
So Ellie Berger yells at me for keeping stuff out like this.
Why did Ellie yell at you?
This gizmo, sitting here, she says it makes it quiet.
Yes.
She's right. But it's just unfortunate that we don't have a lot of room for things. Okay,
All right, 5 minutes.
5 minutes to showtime.
Get my,
It's a long walk.
I have to do this. That's a lot of work.
Have you been doing your exercises? It's cooling off out
It's
here.
cooling off, yeah, I just put the AC on. I may be having a play date with Tron tomorrow, her boyfriend, the German Shepherd. My ex-wife and my daughter have a German Shepherd that's our, and, because we've had 5 shepherds, this is and they've got this last shepherd here. And she and the shepherd are like boyfriend and girlfriend, they love each other like you wouldn't believe.
And we weren't allowed to.
I'll tell you, Linda's dog, Susie and Leia, oh my God, do they get along.
Well, we've seen them in here. They're just really cute.
Yeah,
Licking
but,
each
but
other.
when they play, when I take her over to Linda's house, or on Christmas Day, Linda and James had gotten invited to another person's house in Kings Point, and they asked me if I could watch Susie, because they had a cat at that place, so she couldn't take a guide dog, that she didn't want to leave
Yeah.
Susie home alone all day and stuff like that. So Susie came over to my place, and was there for 5 hours with Leia, and the two of them just nonstop. And they don't roughhouse. They run together. Like if I'll throw a frisbee, they'll both run and get it, and they'll both pick it up, and they'll both run back together with it, you know, between them and stuff like that, you know. And it's funny, like if they're over at her house, a lot of times they like to pick up a branch or a stick that fell off of one of the trees behind their house, and one will pick it up and they'll run and chase each other, and that one will lay down and start playing with it, but the other one can come over and take it out of the other one's mouth, and they won't like fight over it. She'll say, okay, you got it now. And the other one will go and lay down and play with it for a little bit,
They
and the
learn
other
how
one,
to share in kindergarten.
and they're really sharing. Yeah, exactly. They're not being competitive for it. They're just saying, okay, you can have a little now. Okay, would you like it back?
You should make videos of this stuff
Yeah.
and charge money for it for kindergartens and preschools.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
you should indeed make videos though, even if they're for your own use, for
Yeah.
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 Body of water in the United States. Not every river, but all the Great Lakes, the two oceans, the Mississippi, the Snake, and myriad of other rivers everywhere. Almost every single, yeah.
Well, I guess I'll use strike the match when I come up there.
Everywhere.
I picked up some of these 3M, the N95 masks. And it's much more comfortable to fit around the face. It doesn't let the air get, like, you've got one.
I got one, I got a whole pack of them.
And it keeps your glasses from fogging up because you have like a little foam thing in there.
So you don't like to wear those as a regular thing, I mean,
And when I go out, if I go into a store or something like that, I'll put it on when I get out of the car.
because these things that you're wearing really,
The way I look at it is that everybody's wearing.
And here we are. Shabbat Shalom and welcome to our Shabbat evening service here at Beth Israel in Sun City Center. And I have to turn my microphone on. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, look at that. Well, now I'll say it again. Welcome. I do want to tell you a few things before we begin the service. The first thing is that we are only live streaming. There is no in-person attendance, and there will be no in-person attendance through the month of January. We will revisit the question later in the month and see where we are in terms of the virus and so forth. But there are people in the building, and that, of course, is the tech crew. And we do have a new adjunct member of the tech crew who is also the director of facilities for us at Beth Israel. So you will hear John Gamson's dulcet tones. And Leah is not going to be singing this evening, though. Is that right, John? No, Leah isn't singing tonight. And we have two members of the tech team who are backup for other people in the tech room tonight. Those two will be sitting in the sanctuary, and when we do call and response kinds of things, you will hear them. So that's by way of introduction. And let me suggest to you now that it's time to relax and get comfortable and make ourselves ready to enter Shabbat. So everybody, sit back on your chair and put your back against the chair, put your feet on the floor, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and breathe in and breathe out. And do that again. Breathe in and breathe out. And continue doing that. And as you're doing that, I'd like you to think about what Abraham Joshua Heschel taught us about Shabbat. He taught us that Shabbat is an island in time. It is a break from the usual activities. It is a respite. And he taught us that though other religions have facilities, have magnificent cathedrals and so forth, in Judaism we have our island in time. And so we are arriving at that island, and we need to be in the right mental space to take full advantage of the peacefulness, the tranquility of the island in time. So I would like you to breathe in the atmosphere of your island. Are you on an island where there are palm trees, or maybe there are pine trees on your island? Breathe in the atmosphere and breathe out normally. And breathe in again. Think about the birds that are on the island that separates you from the mainland hustle and bustle, and breathe out again. And think about the sun, which has just set, and so there are just little outlines of things visible now as you are settling in to spend this hour and a half with us and the rest of Shabbat on the island in time. One more time, breathe in and hold it, and breathe out, and open your eyes. We're going to begin our service this evening with a Yiddish song, Soll sein Shabbos, Let It Be Shabbos, and then it's going to be Soll sein Sholem, Let It Be Peace, and some other things as well. Soll sein Shabbos.
Shabbos, 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 Shabbos. Soll sein in Shabbos. Shabbos soll sein, Shabbos soll sein. Shabbos auf der ganzen Welt. Shabbos soll sein, Shabbos soll sein. Shabbos auf der ganzen Welt. שירו איתנו. Sholem, 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 Sholem. Soll sein in Sholem. Sholem, 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 Sholem. Soll sein in Sholem. Sholem soll sein, Sholem soll sein. Sholem auf der ganzen Welt. Sholem soll sein, Sholem soll sein. Sholem auf der ganzen Welt. Lichtig, 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 lichtig soll sein. Soll sein in lichtig. Lichtig, 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 lichtig. Soll sein in lichtig. Lichtig soll sein, lichtig soll sein. Lichtig auf der ganzen Welt. Lichtig soll sein, lichtig auf der ganzen Welt. Freilich, 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 freilich soll sein in freilich. Freilich, 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 freilich soll sein in freilich. Hey, freilich soll sein, freilich soll sein, freilich auf der ganzen Welt. Freilich soll sein, freilich soll sein, freilich auf der עוד פעם אחד שולם, 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 שולם. soll sein in שולם. שולם, 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 שולם. soll sein in שולם. שולם soll sein, שולם soll sein, שולם auf der ganzen Welt. שולם soll sein, שולם soll sein, שולם auf der ganzen Sholem soll sein, Sholem soll sein, Sholem auf der ganzen Welt. Sholem soll sein, Sholem soll sein, Sholem auf der ganzen Welt.
And we're going to continue now with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Delise Axon will have that honor this evening. You want to start with the reading?
Yeah.
Is your microphone on?
My microphone is on.
Oh, good.
I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'ekdishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And we're going to continue on page 123 in the prayer book, and of course the text is on the screen. If you have a glass of wine at home, I invite you to raise it with me. And for those of you in the sanctuary, the representatives of the community, I invite you to please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemase v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. And we're going to continue with music, Lechu Neranena.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. La 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 la. La 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 la. Yeah, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. צור אישנו, נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו, בזמירות נריע לו. Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la
And we're going to continue now on page 144 in the prayer book, and of course the text is on the screen with Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. B'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'imeru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam ulal me'almaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yitalev, v'yithalal, shmei dekudesha, b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imeru. Amen. And that brings us to the formal opening of the service with the call to worship. Now, this is what we call a call and response, so we're going to try to do that correctly, and I'm trusting the entire congregation seated in the room to get it right this time. So we'll see. There's only 3 of them, so how bad can it be? Please rise for the Barchu. Lai, 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Lai 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 lai. That was impressive. Just proves it could happen. We're going to continue with a reading which is on the screen. and I invite you to read with me. To be a Jew means to wake up and keep your eyes open to the many beautiful, mysterious, and holy things that happen all around us every day. Many of them are like little miracles. When we wake up and see the morning light, when we taste food and grow strong, when we learn from others and grow wise, when we hug the people we love and feel warm, when we help those around us and feel good. All these and more are there for us every day, but we must open our eyes to see them. And we continue now with Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו תשופנו ופקומנו, נשיאה בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד. איי 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 איי, אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך
We continue now on page 152 in the prayer book for the Shema. The text will all be on the screen as well. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto
לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. And we're going to continue now with the reading that is on the screen. Please read with me. Religion is not merely a belief in ultimate reality or in an ultimate ideal. These beliefs are worse than false. They are platitudes, truisms that nobody will dispute. Religion is a momentous possibility. The possibility, namely, that what is highest in spirit is also deepest in nature, that there is something at the heart of nature, something akin to us, a conserver and an increaser of values, that the things that matter most are not at the mercy of the things that matter least. And we're going to continue now with Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך בעלי אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך בעלי אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה בלב, נורא תהילות עושה בלב. מי כמוך בעלי אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך בעלי אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה בלב, נורא תהילות עושה בלב. All right, Eric, will you play us a very special part? Let me hear what you got to say on the guitar. Can you do that one more time? Okay, I got it. Yidda-di-di, 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 yidda-di-di.
We are going to continue with the reading that is on the screen. Please join me. It is evening, and children slowly dream away the storms of day. It is evening, and stars glow gently in the quiet heavens. Can we understand a dream? Find a net to capture the meaning of a glowing star? What bridge spans the vast space we must cross to reach understanding? How small are we who attempt the journey? And yet somehow we learn to find our glory in a brave and endless struggle to comprehend eternal mysteries. We are voyagers in an infinite sea, our destination always beyond the horizon, but we are voyagers. We continue now with Hashkivenu.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Shomreinu lechaim, Vehamidenu, Shomreinu lechaim, Ufros aleinu, Sukkot shlomecha, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Okay. We continue on page 163. The reading is on the screen as well. Join me, please. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. And we continue with Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. איש לימים אסון עלי לשמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינפח, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
We're going to continue now with the central prayer of the service, the Amidah, the prayer said standing. The text begins on page 164 in the prayer book. There will be texts on the screen as well. And we will reconvene together. First, we'll do some singing together in Hebrew, then there'll be English readings, and we will reconvene for Oseh Shalom on page 180. Please rise for the Amidah. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tehilatecha, Adonai, sifatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav Lohoshia, Mashiva Ruach Umorida Gashem, Mechalkel Chaim Chesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Say shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol
We come now to the opportunity to offer prayers for the sick, the Mishaberach. We're going to begin with music, then I will read the list of names and give you the opportunity to offer prayers for people outside the congregation, and then we'll come back to the music. So let us begin now with the music.
Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu yivarech veYirapeh et hacholim
This Shabbat, we are offering prayers for the following members of the congregation: Beverly Adler, Robert Berg, Elaine Bialer, Barry Brown, Cheryl Chernoff, Marianne Fink, Raleigh Ford, Arnie Goldklang, Nancy Goodstein, Bernie Katz, Marcia Katz, Verdna Kelly, Dorothy Kemp, Jerome Levy, Marlis Markovitz, Marcia Marshall, Amy Mogill, Bernie Mogill, Steve Morris, Paula Newberger, Andrew Pernick, Sharon Privatera, Fanny Reese, Anna Maria Robbins, Bill Schaefer, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Roz Shapiro, Alan Sharkey, Francis Sheff, Joe Sheff, Norman Toff, Ruth Turchin, David Unterlach, Eugene Udowin, Amit Ben Shirley, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Chana Pesa Bat Golda, Chaya Esther Bat Chana, Chaya Sarah Bat Gittel, Chaim Binyamin Ben Lev, Dvorah Bat Ruth, Esther Bedana Bat Shena Malka, Freda Hinda Bat Yudis, Gavriel Ben Chaim, Gitalea Bat Pesa, Chaim Melech Ben Yitzchak, Henya Rachel Bat Sarah, Heshleib Ben Devorah, Yosef Shmuel Ben Bertha, Leb Shalom Ben Yechiel Michael, Manya Bat Fredel, Masha Bat Esther, Menachem Ben Frima, Mindela Bat Frima, Mordechai Ben Sarah, Moshe Hersh Ben Rivka, Pesach Lev Ben Sarah, Shirley Bat Sarah, Shmuel Ben Moshe, Shalamis Bat Sarah, Shulamit Bat Tzila, Cyril Reza Bat Esther, Velvel Ben Hinda Bela, Yaakov Ben Malka, Yonatan Ben Chassia. And now I'm going to ask you to take this opportunity to offer prayers for people who are near and dear to you. Take a few moments to think about them and offer prayers for their well-being. And as you do that, articulate the names silently, please. And for the health and well-being of people outside of your closest family and friends, but people you are interested in praying for at this time, please take this opportunity and please articulate their names silently. And this is a good time to be thinking of people all over the world who are now suffering once again from the coronavirus. Let's pray for people everywhere and also for their caregivers. And of course, there are people everywhere suffering from many other things. Some of them are diseases, and some of them are the results of climactic catastrophes and other things. Let's offer prayers for people everywhere who are suffering at this point. And let's also offer prayers now for the healing of our country. And let's conclude this section of the service by offering prayers for our planet. And we go back to the music.
Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, veLeah, uYivarech veYirapeh,
This being the first Friday evening of the month of January, it is our practice to offer birthday and anniversary blessings for people celebrating those occasions during the month. They're not here, and that presents a bit of a problem. So we're going to solve that problem by a different means this evening, and we won't be able to ask people what birthdays they're celebrating. We won't be able to ask how long folks have been married, but we will at least take the opportunity to read the names and to offer special prayers on their behalf. So for those celebrating birthdays in the month of January, that would include Fran Silverman, Sandra Hurwitz, Rosalind Shapiro, Bonnie Tandit, Robert Goldberg, Erica Beverly, Raymond Califf, Maxine Schoenholz, Marcia Marshall, whose birthday is today, Stephen Blasowski, Stephen Tabin, Harvey Weiss, Peter Sobel, Anne Graff, Francine Brown, Norman Karp, Melba Goldschlager, Dorothy Kemp, Paul Lino, Francis Sheff, Nancy Goodstein, Alla Barwick, Estelle Perlman, Harold Siskin, Amy Mogul, Gary Notboni, and Fred Levine. Of all of those, I'm willing to wager, this is risky, mind you, but I'm willing to wager that Francis Sheff wins for being the oldest of our birthday celebrants this month. And for those celebrating birthdays, we do have a special blessing. And this is it. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of those whose birthdays will be celebrated this month. They are grateful to God for the gift of life which they have enjoyed until this day. May the Holy One of Blessing continue to bless each one of them with length of years, good health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Ma'asim Tovim, good deeds. In celebrating these and other birthdays, may all these folks set an example to remind us that people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. And we say, Amen. And we're going to offer special prayers for people celebrating wedding anniversaries this month. On the 5th of the month, Joe and Anne Graff will be celebrating an anniversary. On the 8th, Sam and Joanne Sudman will be celebrating an anniversary. And on the 15th, Martin and Erica Beverly will be celebrating an anniversary. And so for them, we will have a special blessing as well. And may God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of those who are going to be celebrating anniversaries in the month to come. May the Holy One of Blessing protect and deliver them. May they continue to enjoy God's blessing in the song of their years to come, embraced by the love of their children and grandchildren and even great-grandchildren, so that they may always live in joy and gladness, in peace and companionship. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Amazing how much shorter this part of the service is when no one is here to participate in it. Well, that brings us to the drash. So hang on a moment. I wanted to take a few moments this evening to speak about something in this week's Torah portion, which has often been a puzzlement to me. So I'm going to read to you in English. Did you want me to read this in Hebrew? I'll just read it in English. Yeah, probably just as well. I will read to you in English from Parshat Bo. This is from chapter 12 of the book of Exodus. The Eternal One said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall mark for you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first of the months of the year for you. Speak to the community leadership of Israel and say that on the 10th of this month, each of them shall take a lamb to a family, a lamb to a household. But if the household is too small for a lamb, let it share one with a neighbor who dwells nearby in proportion to the number of persons. You shall contribute for the lamb according to what each household will eat. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a yearling male. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats. You shall keep watch over it until the 14th day of this month, and all the assembled congregation of the Israelites will slaughter it at twilight. They shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the houses in which they are to eat it. They shall eat the flesh that same night. They shall eat it roasted over the fire with unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. Do not eat any of it raw or cooked in any way with water, but roasted, head, legs, and entrails over the fire. You shall not leave any of it over until morning. If any of it is left until morning, you shall burn it. This is how you shall eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it hurriedly. It is a Passover offering to the Eternal. For that night I will go through the land of Egypt and strike down every male firstborn in the land of Egypt, both human and beast. And I will mete out punishments to all the gods of Egypt, I, the Eternal. And the blood on the houses where you are staying shall be a sign for you. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, so that no plague will destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. So that's all very familiar to most of us, I think, right? But there's a puzzle in there that I have thought about many, many times. And it is a puzzle that's related to something that happened a little earlier also in the narrative of the story of the Exodus in the book of Exodus itself. And that is that when God summons Moses and God presents to Moses in the fire the burning bush, the bush that is not consumed, God says to Moses, "Take your shoes off your feet. You're standing on holy ground." So there's that little tidbit. And then there's this business about taking the blood and painting it on the doorposts of your house. Okay? And what those two things have in common that I've been thinking about is that those are ritual behaviors. Those really are ritual behaviors. And taking the shoes off because you're on holy ground, painting the doorposts with blood. But when our sages finally got around to creating what we now call the Seder for Passover, which is full of rituals, they didn't echo any of this. It's an interesting thing. They didn't. They created a series of rituals to commemorate the occasion, but they didn't use the rituals that were part of the occasion. And I have often wondered about that. Now, we Jews don't take our shoes off when we come into the synagogue, and our ancestors did not take their shoes off when they went into the temple. In fact, they may have gone there barefoot because many of them probably were barefoot in antiquity. But they didn't take their shoes off. Who takes shoes off when they go to a sacred location? Our Muslim cousins do. They take their shoes off before they go into a mosque. But we don't. There is one occasion during the calendar year when, an occasion that occurs at several times during the calendar year, when the Kohanim take their shoes off, and that is on Yom Kippur and other occasions when the Kohanim pronounce the priestly benediction. And they take their shoes off, and the Levites wash their hands, and then the Kohanim come into the sanctuary and pronounce the priestly blessing. But the rest of us don't take our shoes off. And so I've often wondered about that. Does that mean that we should not consider, for example, our synagogue as a sacred space? I think many of us would find that idea uncomfortable, because we do treat this space as different from the social hall, for example. And so there's an element of discomfort there. And then there's the question of why don't we have any kind of ritual to commemorate painting the doorposts of the house? Don't you think that's interesting? That we don't have anything like that. And I have often wondered why our sages stayed away from that. I have not found an answer, but it is in keeping with other things in this section. So let me just remind you that it says, "This is how you shall eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it hurriedly." Now, most of the Seder meals that I have been to have been anything but hurried. We get finally to the meal. Nobody's in a rush to get back to the Haggadah, right? And the Seder meal can go on for a very long time. It depends on how many people are at the table and how many courses are being served. But the Seder meal is not a rushed experience. So our sages didn't capitalize on any of the things that were specifically commanded for this occasion. And I have thought that unusual. Now, the reason that I think it's unusual is that our entire religious ritual life was created by the rabbis to concretize things that are mentioned in Torah. For example, it says that you're supposed to make Shabbat holy. And it doesn't tell us anything about how. And the sages, the rabbis said, oh, we can do that. There are 2 commandments for the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath and observe the Sabbath. We light 2 candles for the Sabbath, one for observe and one for remember. That's concretizing ritual. And many other things about how we make Shabbat different from the rest of the week. And a lot of our actual ritual behaviors are meant to reinforce what the Torah says. The Torah says that Shabbat is holy, and we know how we begin it, but in order to differentiate Shabbat from the rest of the week, we actually have to mark the end of it as well. Because when Shabbat ends, the rest of the week begins. And unless you mark the end, you don't have a beginning. So our sages gave us the ritual of Havdalah. So they were busy finding ways to make Torah into concrete behaviors, rituals. And they opted away from taking off our shoes when we come into a holy place. They opted away from eating the Passover meal in a big hurry, and they opted away from painting the doorposts of our house. Now, I'm not wanting to suggest to you that we should next Pesach be painting our doorposts. Certainly not with lamb's blood. I will remind you, in case you have forgotten, I am a vegetarian. I'm not interested in any of that stuff with that lamb. But I do think it is interesting to think about how we could do something, not outside the doors of our houses, but what kind of ritual could we come upon, could we create that would recapture that moment? Because think about what that moment was really about. They slaughtered the lamb, and they collected the blood, and they painted it on the doorpost because it says, where does it say it? It says, take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the houses in which you're going to eat that animal. Why? Because the blood on the houses where you are staying shall be a sign for you. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, so that no plague will destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. So what kind of symbolic action could we take that would recognize that our ancestors in this moment were being reassured that though there was going to be a truly dreadful plague to bring it all together and finish this business of plagues, they were not going to be injured? That was asking them to do something to express their faith, their trust, right? That's what that was. And they did it, apparently, because they survived. So what could we do as a ritual that would capture that expression of faith and hope that would perhaps echo the idea of painting blood on the doorposts of the house? So I want to leave you with that thought. I think it's something we should give some thought to, because the one thing we can say about the creation of Jewish rituals is we're not finished yet. So we will go back to that subject when we get to Pesach a little later in the year. And we're going to continue now on page 586 with the Aleinu. Please rise. The Aleinu will be on the screen as well. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam. Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed aretz umoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al Ushrinatu zo, begovhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes zulato, kakatuv b'torato, Viadata hayom vehashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, bashamayim mimal, v'al ha'aretz mitachat ein od. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. The reading that is on the screen is also on page 595 in the prayer book. Please join me. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. On this Shabbat, the congregation is remembering Martin Grossman, uncle of Michelle Atkins Schaefer, Sharnya Fisher, sister of Cyril Kolb, Mel Fader, husband of Marcia Fader, Mary Miller, who was a friend of mine. Actually, she was going to be our first convert when I arrived here. I started working with her, and she died that January of the flu. So that should be a reminder to us that we've been dealing with this stuff for a long time. Murray Baum, father of Barbara Grossman, Tessie Goldman Levine, mother of Naomi Hauser, Sidney A. Clemson, father of Elizabeth Jacobs, Renee Lutzker, wife of Marvin Lutzker, Albert Markovitz, husband of Marlis Markovitz, John Morris, father of Stephen Morris, Louis Noel, grandfather of Linda Mumford, James Rubin, father of Ellen Offenbach, Isabel Manis, mother of Deborah Perrion, William Ross, father of Barry Ross, Benjamin Richer, father of Maxine Schoenholtz, Edna Seitz, mother of Joel Seitz, Sarah Spiegel, mother of Paul Spiegel, Sophie Bulicki, grandmother of Stephen Tabin, Linda Hernacki, sister-in-law of Stephen Tabin, Pauline Seligman, mother of Joseph Seligman, Dorothy Spieler, Adeline Handelman, Rochelle Meschbecher, Leo Oxorn, Tuba Reza Lerner, Sharna Hames, Brian Balcony, and Nathan Miller, and we are counting Shloshim for congregant Deanne Greenwald. Kaddish will be on the screen. It's on page 598 in the prayer book. Please rise and join me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav huyase shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. It is, of course, that time when we get to do announcements, and Nina Malinak will give us the announcements this evening. And I'll pick up the garbage.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Carla, for tonight's service and your very thought-provoking drash.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Louise Saxon, for lighting the Shabbat candles. And thank you for the tech team, because without the team, we wouldn't be doing this broadcast.
That is the truth.
Classes this week, as usual, on Tuesday at 1:30, continuing Hebrew, followed at 3 o'clock by Biblical Hebrew Grammar. On Thursday the 13th at 1:30, Biblical Hebrew Grammar, followed at 3 o'clock by Basic Jewish Values, all of which on Zoom. Next Friday night, Shabbat service will be streamed. And on Monday the 17th, the Library Book Club. Time has been changed to 1 o'clock. The book Trail of Broken Wings by Sijal Badani, the author, will be joining us at that book club meeting, and she's in California, which is why the time has been changed. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Say that again?
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes. Yes. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, right. Right. Yes, we're going to conclude the service with the singing of Adon Olam. The words for Adon Olam, if you are in the sanctuary and looking for them, are on page 625. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Let Nasa, Vechefzo Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. Adon Olam אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, עת נעשה וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נעשה וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה לתפארה, והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו והכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז ולא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי וצרה, והוא ניסים ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה, והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נעשה וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
That was a Vorspeise for those members of our congregation who are going to attend the concert that Cantor Schwartz is giving in Sarasota this Sunday evening. And for the rest of us, it will have to do. Thank you for being with us, whether you are amongst the throng in the sanctuary or with us at home. Please have a good, healthy, safe week, and we'll see you next Shabbat and in classes and other things during the week. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Over and out.